God, I love that song. You'll be humming it all day long. Tell me something good. That's the reason why we're here. I offer a steady diet of friends, entrepreneurs, celebrities to come on board and share something good. Today's an extra special treat. This is a guy I know from high school, college, business. God, 40 some odd years. Crazy. Welcome to the show, Keith Cutler. I'm so excited you're here. Tell me something good.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, we really have lived parallel lives together and separate from, it's kind of ironic. I think you were born in New York, weren't you?
I was born in New York, moved to South Florida when I was going into Hollywood Hills, when I started at Hollywood
Hills. And I was born and raised, born in Miami, grew up North Miami, Hollywood Plantation, and now I live in New York. So the world is kind of upside down. And just so you know, I love that song, Rufus and Chaka Khan.
In the game.
And you probably know, co-written by Stevie Wonder also.
I did not know that.
There you go.
That is a fact that nobody's come up with. That's amazing. Cool.
Music is my passion. Sports is my business, but music is a passion. So there you go.
You have already delivered value. You see, like, boom. High school, baby.
All right.
So why don't you tell us who Keith Cutler is? I know you're into some super exciting stuff that we can share today, but who is this bald guy that's sharing the screen with me?
On National Bald-Headed Day or whatever it is. I don't know. we're going to have fun, and we always have fun. Well, we've known each other since you got to South Florida from New York, high school. We're both Gators. Love the Gators. Nothing makes me more excited than watching a Florida game, as long as they can play some defense. Maybe one of these days. It's either all or nothing here. But
it's not good.
But still a hardcore Gator. Some of my greatest memories are in Gainesville and even beyond, going to national championships, football and basketball. So I love them, and really got into. I've been in. I'd said a 30-year career in the corporate media and sports world, sports marketing. I worked for some of the biggest brand media names, at some great levels. At USA Today, started sports marketing there. Was publisher of a great baseball magazine called Baseball Weekly, and that was but it's really the people you meet along the way. Same with Turner, TBS and TNT. I ran sales and marketing for their sports division. CBS was digital, so some big companies, and 30 years of that, and you want to try something new. You want to do things that are different. So for the past 10 years, I've really been re-energized, working with a lot of startups. And being a mentor and advisor. I teach a little. There's several colleges I've done many guest lectures, from NYU, Columbia to Montclair State University, which is a great media center. They tap into the power of the New York, New Jersey media market, with all the big companies here. So I've been up in New York for 20 years, lived all over the country, lived in LA, San Francisco, DC, and now New York for 20 years. So we've seen each other. We've been out there together, out at the big events. Probably we're both very lucky. I've been a part of. It's like I get tired of hearing. You talk to people, females and people, say, "You have my brother, husband, father's dream job. You get to go to the Super Bowl." I said, "Yeah, and I really enjoy sitting at home watching it instead."
And people don't get that now, but after you've been there is that, like, I'm not standing in line. I'm not getting there 8 hours early. It's a thrill, but I just don't go to anything anymore. So obviously with COVID,
I'm in the same boat. Well, none of us do for reasons beyond our control. But the fact is, I've been very fortunate. I count myself very fortunate. I've been to the world's greatest events, sporting events, name it. I've been to it 4 times, 20 times, whatever it is. And it doesn't get old when you're there, but after a while, I think guys like us love challenges, love doing something new, challenging ourselves to something a little bit different, and the excitement of starting something new, something fun. So that's really kind of where I am now, from corporate sports marketing, media world, dealing with the biggest and the best, which is fantastic. Some of your previous guests, Michael Yormark's a good friend, his twin brother Brett, good friend, good business friends. I've tangled with them. Michael interviewed with me. We're a little bit older than Michael. Michael came out of grad school, interviewed with me at USA Today. I will say by far and away the best candidate, and he didn't get the job because sometimes there are circumstances even beyond the hiring manager's control, meaning, and I think I've told Michael this, if not, maybe he'll watch it and he'll eventually.
Oh, he's watching. He watches. So yeah,
he'll forgive me, because if I would have hired him, he probably would have fired me after a while. He probably would have just jumped over me and tossed me aside. But we had to hire someone internal, and that was just sort of a mandate from the very top. But and that came out afterwards. But Michael is a terrific friend, and as his brother Brett is, and they are who they are. They're A+. They're A+.
They are A players. That's for sure.
Achievers, and very impressive. Very impressive. Everything they've done. Everything they.
So I love that we're getting this opportunity to get back together. You started with, even though you've had this incredible journey, it's always about the people, and you have that experience that you can share with people that is invaluable. Forget about where we went to school and what your learned education is. Your experience really is what steps in front of it. So why don't we start with high school? We have this unbelievable elixir that happened at our high school that we have some of the most successful people in the world.
Right.
What's your take on it? You're still in touch with a ton of people from high school, and that blows people's minds.
Oh, absolutely. Again, previous guests of yours, Ginger Enos and Lisa Smith, and her husband, Howard Smith, who we all grew up with. And Howard's at the Phillies right now, was at Major League Baseball for many, many, many years. And I would, just sort of in business and friendship from high school, we run into each other on hallways. So that's phenomenal. One of the great stories I like to say and tell people, and you remember this, we were all going to Highlight probably before we were supposed to go to Highlight. And I used to go hang out at Highlight with a now former U.S. congressman. Robert
Wexler.
Exactly. I saw Robert when he first got to D.C. We would have breakfast or lunch or whatever, and he's very successful. So from congressmen to leaders in industry, top business people, doctors, lawyers, and probably an Indian chief somewhere along the line.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they own the Hard Rock Hotel, so we probably went to school with all those folks, and that's great too. They're terrific, and it is amazing. It is really amazing. We have some very high achievers that we're still in contact with, and enjoy their company, and just love them then and love them now.
So, the takeaway that I focus on is that, we were around great people. That was situational, that, people moved and came together at Hollywood Hills. We took advantage of that and still take advantage of that in playing. You and I have done and talked about business deals. I remember you were dealing with somebody, had something to do with nature, seeds, or some young lady that you were teaching in some class, and she still reaches out to me on social media because you made an impact on her. Was that
Liz Pulver?
Liz Pulver. Wow, look at you, man.
Wow. That's terrific. Good for her. Good for you. Yeah.
Right, so
I'm telling you right now, she has a product that maybe you and I should just grab and do, because she's so busy, doing urban landscaping, that she has a terrific product that I want to. I actually talked to Lisa Smith about.
No kidding, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's what you learn in life. It's all about connections. It's not so much what you know, more who you know. And so the start of developing a solid network, our foundation, started at the high school level. We built it at a college level. And so right now, I mean, I'm friendly with anybody that's a Gator. Both of my boys have coached college football there. So, there's instant camaraderie that I find it fascinating when I talk to other people and they go, well, yeah, I spent 4 years at this school and then I never do anything with it. Well, the people you meet that you went to college with, it's fascinating. So
that's a missed opportunity. That's just when we hear guys like I hear that, I think I could see we cringe inside. It's like, the network. Oh my God, University of Florida, the largest university in the world. How can you not have 1 million people that you connect with there?
Right. It doesn't make sense to me, yet it happens all the time. And social media has sort of unlocked the key to meeting Gators in every walk of life in every part of the world, which they are. So anyway, so having this whole, you understand relationships. I know that I don't have to speak to you for a year. If I pick up the phone and call you, you're answering, and we pick up probably when we were 17 doing shit we shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But now we take all of that and we bring it to this startup world or to the business world. So I'm eager to hear you talk about, what you're doing now. I know that you have a great story about, where, something that you're currently involved in. So why don't we shift gears and talk about the now? And I know you got something really good to talk to us about.
Yeah, when you say tell me something good, I'll tell you, I've got a really cool story. I've been for many years, for the last at least 10, 12 years, I've gotten into the startup world, worked with several accelerators, incubators. They're interchangeable as far as working with startup companies. And during the summer of 2017, these two young guys walked in. They were assigned to me, 22 years old, and they were holding a water bottle. They were holding something like similar, just a water bottle like that, plastic one. And I go, what do you guys, what's your story? And they said, well, we built a bike helmet. And, I nearly yawned and fell asleep. I was like, okay, great. Another bike helmet that no one's going to wear. And they proceeded to shimmy this thing open and unraveled this, what I still to this day call, it's a yarmulke with rocks inside. It was like a big thing that kind of flat with little fake straps on it. And like,
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at, and to this day, they'll tell you the original prototype, I call it yarmulke with rocks. I mean, it's just this flap of felt with some things in it. And they shimmied it out of this water bottle. And so they told me their story. And basically these two guys, they were fraternity brothers and engineering students at Virginia Tech. And one of the guys, Dave's sister, was on her way to her final exam at Temple University outside of Philly, and she had a helmet, wasn't wearing it, riding a bike. Don't have to really finish the story, but terrible accident. Guy went through a stop sign. He was drunk, whatever. She was in a coma for 4 months. Fortunately, she came out of it. Knock on everything, she's doing great 4 or 5 years later. But what motivated these two engineering students who never once thought about a bike helmet, Dave was going to maybe be kind of a defense engineer, and his partner Jordan was going to be like an automotive engineer. He's into cars and stuff like that. They said, when they were asking him when Rachel was in a coma, they said, was she wearing a bike helmet? Did she have a bike helmet? And they all wondered, like, no, but nobody wears a bike helmet. Kids don't wear bike helmet. Something your mother makes you wear. When you get old enough, it's like, I'm not wearing a bike helmet. I'm sure your boys were the same way. It's like,
absolutely, man. It's not cool. It's just not cool.
It's not cool. It's exactly, Steve. It's not cool.
It's just not cool.
And it's a safety product to protect our nice bald heads and our brains, like they wear football helmets, because there's bad things that could happen out there. So they proceeded, being engineers and scientists. They did a survey, and they found out there were 3 main reasons why people don't wear bike helmets. Ain't cool, uncomfortable, doesn't look good, I don't want to carry it around. So it's really like, it's all vanity, and I've been doing this long enough, so I got all my little catchphrases, vanity over sanity, kind of things like that. And but it's like, I'm lazy, I don't want to carry it. But it could save your life. It could protect your head. So I become very passionate about this thing. So what they did is they've eliminated the pain points, literally. We have created a bike helmet that looks like a baseball hat and folds up. And the reason they took it out of the water bottle is they wanted to have it fold up so it could collapse and fit in a water bottle like you can put on your bike, so you don't have to worry about carrying it around. So when you eliminate the lazy, you eliminate the aesthetic. Who doesn't wear? This is probably the only time today I'm not wearing a baseball hat, because I cover my head. It's sunny out there. I don't live in Florida. My head isn't permanently tan like yours. It'll get burned. And these interchangeable baseball hats that you can put on, this modular mosaic that collapses down into a cylindrical shape. Doesn't necessarily fit in a bike in a water bottle, but it will fit in a case, and you can put 2 of them in a backpack. Everyone carries a backpack or a messenger bag. You can put it in there. And we embarked on a design campaign. We were part of another accelerator called Urban X. That was so BMW Mini is part of that with some private investors. We got some investment out of a family fund in the Midwest, just under $2 million. And then we embarked on an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. So that's where I came in particular, as far as the marketing, communications, telling that story, that very personal, compelling story, which is money, and authentic and true. Every word of it is, and that authenticity combined with a product, giving people something that they really wanted. The other bike helmet companies aren't doing it.
Wow, I love it.
There's collapsible helmets, but they're the same. Basically, it's a helmet with hinges. So when you expand it, it still looks like the same ugly helmet that doesn't feel good on my head. And even when it collapses down, I need something to the tune of like a laptop pack to carry it around in it. So they didn't, when you solve, here's a good business lesson for people, right? If you have 3 problems, solve 3 problems. If you solve 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of 3, don't bother, because
don't bother.
So what we are fortunate to do, we've solved the 3 out of 3 problems that we did the research and found out. So to tell you, not to be arrogant or bragging about it, but we believe we solved the problem.
I believe you have. I mean,
because micromobility is exploding, not only now, but when we first launched the product with, the city bikes of the world and all the ride shares and the scooter shares. But now with this pandemic, nobody's taking public transportation. Nobody's out there. They're all riding bikes. You can't buy a bike.
I was going to say, your timing is spectacular, because I have people wanting me to donate my old bikes because they're refurbishing old bikes and giving them away. And, so it is a mode of transportation that as soon as the pandemic hit, I live in Palm Beach. I bought a new bike and I'm all over the place on my bike. I love it. I love the freedom and, but I don't wear a helmet. And I don't wear a helmet because it's not cool to wear those big clunky things. And I'm not carrying it around. So you're absolutely right. I think if you ask 10 people, 10 people would give you those 3 problems. Not cool, pain in the ass to carry. And I got this big thing sitting on my head, like dork.
It's a big mushroom on your head that you don't want to carry around. And it doesn't feel good. So,
good for you, man. That's cool.
We asked thousands of people. And then by launching it on a crowdfunding campaign, you push the button and you hope for the best, and all hell broke loose, Steve. I'm telling you, within days, within 2 days, we already had sold like $250,000 worth. Within a month or 2, we sold over $1 million. So right now, after 2 years, we have over 36,000 pre-ordered and $3.2 million. So the people spoke. Yeah. The people spoke. So
what's really cool. What's cool about this pandemic or this thing that we're going through is people think that there's no innovation happening. People think that there's no, just because we got isolated that we got stuck. No, there's still people doing great stuff. So I love having you on because your exuberance to take something that is real. There's real innovation. It came from a problem. If you solve problems, that's what business is supposed to be about.
100%.
So.
Right. There's too many Me Too products. When you see products, you and I do this all the time. You do it probably even a lot more. I see it, from these accelerators, and everyone says, I've got this great idea and it's going to do this. And if I only get 0.5% of, the greatest new soft drink, and 0.5% of Coca-Cola, we're all going to be billionaires. And I'm like, what makes you think Coke is going to give you that 0.5%? Like, you don't think they're going to wash you like a fly? I mean, it's go away. But when you have a product that people genuinely don't like, a bike helmet is something that it's almost, when you buy a bike at a bike shop, you get guilted into buying a bike helmet, and then it sits in the corner of your garage or your bedroom or wherever it is, and you never pick it up again because you get guilted into buying it. So you spring for the $50 or $100 or whatever it is, and whether you spend $50, $100, or $300, it's made of the same material, made in one of the same 3 factories in China, by probably one of 2 companies, and I just know this now. So now I just know this, right? And our helmet is being made by completely different materials. It has to, because you can't collapse the styrofoam. It breaks. It's the same junk that's. You have a whiteboard in your office. The eraser on the whiteboard. It's like the little thick foam that's on the end butt of it. Bang it on the table and watch it crash.
Boom, right.
And then you'll say, that's your head in the pavement right there.
So are we allowed to share the name of the company?
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, I should. And even the name has a great story. So we're called Park and Diamond because that's the intersection her sister.
Oh, fantastic! Wow,
See, that's the reaction I'm looking for. It is sort of my secret ending. We didn't plan that, but
wow.
it's the payoff. So the company's called Park Diamond, and that's the intersection by which Rachel Hall was riding her bike through. She had the horrible crash that happened to her. So the name, the story, everything about it is authentic, and really the love of a brother for his sister and two best friends. And I'm kind of the third wheel, kind of the old man of the sea here that comes in and kind of deal with speaking to adults on this whole thing. And what we have is we have about an 8-person company. We have engineers, design engineers and engineers here and overseas, putting the finishing touches on it now. And we should start manufacturing by the end of this year.
I love it. So I have definitely 2 introductions for you. I will share the information with my audience. I'm assuming people can still buy on Indiegogo or some crowdfunding platform. Yes.
No, we cut off sales earlier this year. We are really focused on manufacturing right now. We will probably open up sales again when we launch our own DTC direct-to-consumer site. Direct-to-consumer e-commerce is where it's at. I'm working on with our agency designing, and we've got a phenomenal agency here in New York who's worked on some of the biggest and biggest direct-to-consumer brands out there, and they've done a great job with our branding, and we're working to get our website up and running. So we hope to get that up and running by the time we start manufacturing in a few months, and there'll be opportunities, and you just think of the possibilities, guys. Like,
my head's spinning, man.
Because this is going to be a cap that's going to be it's going to be licensed. Early on we had some big companies with some big I can't even say I don't want to say it.
It's all good.
Major licensing opportunities, and we hope to put the Florida Gators on the side because that's the one you and I are going to wear, right? Go Gators!
Exactly.
And we'll do them in all colors. So that's my, in a nutshell, that's kind of my 3 to 5 year plan, is to get that up and running and really take it to the next level, because these interchangeable skins or coats, as we're going to call them, will be, the helmet is a helmet, but you'll want to, if it's October, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I have a vision of every Susan Komen bike-a-thon having a pink helmet, and that's our helmet. That's my vision. That's where I'm going with this thing. I want every helmet to be pink, and I want them all to be ours.
So here's the interesting takeaway, and I try and keep this. We can talk all day long. Here's the real takeaway for me is that because we are friends, and because I said, hey, come join me on the show. We're having this dialogue, and I know I'm going to play a role in the company. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to make a key introduction that's going to give us the opportunity to work together. And at 60, which is what we both are,
we are.
There's nothing better. I mean, that is something not only good, it's great. It's great to see you. It's great to spend time with you. And I know that we're going to be working on something together now. So thank you so much for.
Nothing would bring me greater joy than for you and I to get to work on this together. That would. It's like the payoff when you're. This is it. The circle of life. You kind of what you started with, you finish with, and you and I can go out on this one, and because I know I am. And this is going to be big, and I'm really excited about it.
You hit a chord. The whole thing, the name excites me. I'm sure that there'll be a philanthropic part of it as well. Oh, yeah. So I'm all in. I'm so happy that you spent time. The only thing I ask is that you agree to come back when this thing launches and talk to us about the direct-to-consumer launch.
Try to stop me.
You are the man. Thank you.
Great talking to you. Thanks.